Hi, this is Dennis from Cyberkraft. We're going to talk today about the Crowdstrike global tech outage. So, earlier this morning, Crowdstrike pushed out an update to their Falcon sensor platform, their flagship sensor. And this update caused Windows Host, Windows or Microsoft Office 365, and Windows Host to crash. This has caused global pandemonium. It's probably going to go down in history as the largest outage in history. I think we have yet to finish this outage or see companies, organizations recover from it. I think and the fact that it happens on a Friday also compounds issues as well. It's a major issue. It can't be understated, and we're going to dive into it. So first off, what a lot of people are seeing are that airlines are struggling. Most of the major airlines in the United States and a lot of major airlines across the globe are experiencing outages due to this. And the reason why, if an organization is using CrowdStrike as their cybersecurity solution, CrowdStrike is an enormous cybersecurity vendor, that Falcon sensor will cause their Windows host to not boot correctly, to blue screen essentially. And in order to recover that, if you're using BitLocker, you have to deploy a recovery key, which is a time-consuming process, not readily done by a lot of organizations. So we see disruptions to airlines. We see disruptions to airports as well. A lot of major airports are experiencing outages, experiencing delays. Healthcare industries, hospitals are seeing major delays. Blood centers are seeing issues compounding shipments of blood to donors. That's affecting, it's a major health concern. We're also seeing some hospitals, a major German hospital, Schleswig-Holstein, that is only able to offer emergency care right now. They had to pare back their ability to provide care due to this outage. So some people have been stranded at the airport for multiple hours. We've had multiple government agencies affected by this outage. There's been investigations currently ongoing from the US government and UK government into the nature of the breach. And let's take a look to see what CrowdStrike has to say. If you go to CrowdStrike's website, we don't really see anything about the breach. They do have a blog. They do have a blog where they talk about the breach, but they're reeling from this outage. So how are you going to work around, how are you going to stop it? Well, first off, there is a patch out there. If you're able to deploy the patch, that should solve the issue. If not, a workaround involves finding this file, 291*.sys, within your CrowdStrike drivers. If you delete that file, then you should be able to boot normally. The file should have a timestamp of 527 or later. That would be the good version. Of timestamp of 409 or earlier would be a problematic version. So if you delete that file, you should be able to boot normally. Now, though, if you have BitLocker installed, you would need to go through a separate step, and a lot of Office 365 environments are encountering this same issue as well. So I'm going to post this here in case anybody is experiencing that issue. This is what you can do, and there's documentation here. So CrowdStrike is addressing this issue. Honestly, CrowdStrike is reeling from this whole issue. Let's take a look at their stock price, and their stock price has slipped under 10%, and I'm sure it's going to slip more. It's a significant stock fall. Microsoft is also seeing some fallout because their systems are being affected, though it seems that most businesses are understanding this is originating from CrowdStrike, not necessarily from Microsoft. It is affecting Microsoft hosts though. Now we see, as I mentioned, global airlines, global banks being affected. We're also seeing effects outside of that haven't been readily understood. A lot of the reporting has been focused on the airports. Flights have been delayed. A lot of flights have been canceled or flights have been stopped. Some banks have been unable to accept credit card payments or bank card payments because of this outage. So it's affecting consumers and their ability to purchase, their ability to go about their day-to-day. And it's really, as it says here, it's going to lead to millions in losses from organizations. It's very similar, I think, in scope to the SolarWinds breach that we had, though this is not a breach. This is CrowdStrike getting in their own way, essentially. CrowdStrike is the one that's pushed out the update to cause this major outage. There hasn't been any evidence that this is due to external factors or hackers. It's really due to CrowdStrike deploying this. And it's an example, I think, of the importance of testing your patches, testing your environment before you deploy it to production. And CrowdStrike clearly didn't do that effectively, and now the world is paying the price. It shows just the scale of how CrowdStrike is used across the world, and it really does show that over-reliance on one IT vendor can have tremendous consequences if something happens, or if that vendor does have a disruption or cause a disruption for your organization. It's a good example of vendor risk. Now, we've seen there's lots of articles about what this happened or how this is affecting things. FedEx is being affected. There's jails that are being affected in Southern California. Their ability to... most of these are going to be fairly superficial, but it's still going to affect operations. And once you affect one portion of the business, you're drawing resources away from that business's day-to-day operations. You're essentially putting many of these businesses in an incident response mode where they have to respond and they have to triage this issue to get themselves back to a normal operating state, which is costing all of these organizations that are affected lots of money. I think millions is, I think by the end of this, it's going to cost probably trillions of dollars to get, if you count all of the organizations and all of their combined costs of disruption with this outage. So let's see. I haven't seen some of these. We've seen health systems, hospitals. I know there's a German hospital. We have Penn Medicine, Mass General Brigham, Northwell Health, Tufts Medical Center in Boston, Emory Health, Atlanta. These are all now and a lot of these hospitals are paring back their care, the care that they're able to provide because of the outage. For example, Emory Health is, procedures for ambulatory surgery centers and hospitals are delayed, and that's going to cause further delays down the road. Record systems are being affected. This is a common sight at a lot of airports where you'll see kiosks or kiosk monitors showing blue screens, and it is really a major event. So if you haven't seen this yet or you've been too busy, I would definitely, hopefully this is helping you to inform this. This is affecting transportation. It's affecting the subways, New York subways. The governor's calling it an unprecedented situation. The White House has spoken to the CEO of CrowdStrike. They're doing their own assessment. I know the UK government is also doing an assessment on this. FedEx, UPS are being selected. Here's a time lapse. I thought this was very interesting. Here's a time lapse of flights, how they were affected. Midnight to 10 a.m. Eastern Time Friday, and you can just see the volume of flights decrease steadily over that time frame. Some people are taking advantage of this. Some people are offering promotions. They're offering sales. So there's a lot of different responses. Most people, some people even had the day off today because they couldn't dial in remotely or they couldn't do their work at the office. So some people are calling, saying that CrowdStrike gave everybody a Friday off. And here's the number of flight cancellations, with today being on the far right here, tracking the number of flight cancellations. So really is pandemonium, I'd say. I want to make sure to do a video, make sure everybody's aware of this. And if you do need to do that fix or that workaround, if this is affecting you, go to the CrowdStrike blog. I've linked it here to check that out. And get that patch updated if you can. But even with the patch, even with the workaround, it's still going to take organizations multiple hours of labor to get themselves back to a ready state. So, yeah, it's almost like they tripped up. CrowdStrike definitely tripped up on this one. Absolutely. And CrowdStrike CEO, and I'm sure the senior leadership at CrowdStrike is not having a good day today. But hope this is helpful to explain the situation and explain what was going on. If you have any questions, if you're looking for, first off, this is going to lead to a lot of opportunities for cybersecurity professionals, and it's a great indication of how cyber risk is very important to an organization. If you're looking to get into cybersecurity or to improve your career, maybe earn a risk-based certification like ISACA CISM, check out links in the description. Check out cyberkrafttraining.com. My courses are going to help. They'll get you certified. They'll get you the career you need and the training you need for you and your team to help address incidents like this, address organizational risk, and plan for this in the future. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope this was very helpful. And take care. Hope you have a great